Alright, welcome back to the shop. So last week, or last video, I left you guys off with how I sand and buff and rub out the plane to get a really nice shine. So obviously off camera I finished it up. Overall came out pretty good. Weight right now is pretty close to target. I think I'm going to finish about 64 ounces when everything's in. But I mean, overall the finish came out really nice. It's got a really nice clear image in it. So overall, pretty happy with it. A couple little things that I'm gonna have to touch up. I think a couple little minor stuff. It's minor. And the good news is most of it's on the bottom, so makes it a little bit easier. The top is really where you gotta with anything not to be perfect. But there's like a little spot right here where I rubbed through. Looks like a little bit of a green. But overall, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So obviously assembled the whole plane, got it together. I don't know how well you can see it. I get a good look at the entire plane without banging it into the ceiling. So out in the sunlight, the green and the gold really pop in the blue canopy. They really look sharp. So overall, very happy with it. All right, so today, what are we going to do today? So today we're going to just really start putting it together. I'm going to put the motor in. I mean, I did put the ESC in. I don't know how well you can see it. So I did install the ESC. Well, I laid it in. I did. The battery disconnect is in. The timer is in. So today I'm going to put the motor in. Got to finish installing the switch on the ESC. Get the prop set. And that's really, then we're pretty much ready to go. The only other thing I do, I got to make the lead outs for it. But I'm waiting for some springs to come in. I made some clips so you can, from the bell crank to the lead out, so you can take them apart pretty easily, but they'll stay together. So I got some springs coming to, so that I can finish that up. But all right. So in this plane, I am using the Jetspin 66 non-pro, got from Igor Berger, as well as one of Igor's new timers. So first time I'm using his newer approved timer. So far read all the literature on it. Looks to be really good and helpful, and it's really going to help with performance in the electronics front. I mean, it's like next level. Igor's original timer was really good to begin with. And this is just an improvement on it. So we'll be going through that with it. It mounts the same, all the same stuff. So, but here we go. So I'm running a badass 3515 710 kV motor. Really can't beat the badass stuff. Bulletproof, and even the cost is very reasonable. Also, the prop I'm running is an Igor Berger 12.5 narrow, and the spinner and collet is from Pavel. Really nice stuff, 50 millimeter or 2 inches. But all right, we'll get going here. So I'm going to pull the ESC kind of out of the way and all the wires. Alright, 2.5 millimeter wrench. And this is the tricky part where you can't really get your fingers, and this is where you need a third hand and everything else. try to just get one bolt started. Alright, so I got it started. What I do is I run it in, obviously not making it tight, but leaving it so it doesn't flop around. Alright, so I got all 4 bolts started. And what I want to do is make sure it's pushed up against it as I pull it in. I want to make sure the motor is sitting absolutely flush on the mount. Okay, it's going in nicely. And you want to make sure the motor spins and none of the wires get caught. Yeah, the one thing you don't want to have happen is have the lead outs on the motor rub. No good can come of that. So wire management is important in electric planes. So one, you want to make sure you have the least amount of wire that you need. The longer the wire, the more losses, voltage drop. I mean, you'd really have to have really long wires to be a problem, but I always try to keep them as long as necessary is what I'll say. So always make sure that the bolt's good and tight. Alright, so now the motor's in. Now we're going to check the spinner fit. Okay. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to set the spinner distance. We're setting a spinner gap. didn't super tighten it. I just snugged it up a little bit because now I want to measure. And I'll use the trailing edge to measure it to see what the distance is. So that's 22 inches. And that's 22 and a 16th. So perfect. So remember, you always want motor offset. I got a 1/16 of an inch across 12 inches, probably a degree. But that's what I was looking for. I'm usually shooting for an 1/8 to a 1/16. You never want to 0-0 or going in at all. It just doesn't help. But I always try to get about an 1/8, between a 1/16 and an 1/8. You know. And again, that's 22. Yeah, 22 and a strong 16th. Okay. So that was all that time we were taking when we were lining it, setting it up, setting the wings. That extra time and measurements we took turned out to work out for us. So. Uh, 2 millimeter. So every time I tighten something, I check it, spinning it, just making sure. The one thing you don't want to have happen is have this rub and start up and peel paint off. And you don't want to have too big of a gap. So overall, there it goes. It looks pretty good. Alright, now next up is to kind of connect the, we'll connect the wires here. So we'll go black to black. So I used 4mm bullet connectors. And you really just want to make sure you have good contact as it goes in. It should have drag going in. I'm just trying to manage all the wires here. Alright, now for the interesting part as we go to put it in. Alright, so that's not bad. Once I zip tie this down, we'll have to manage the wires a little bit. So you can stick the ESC down with Velcro. I used to do that. I never really liked it. I always felt the ESC could bounce around. So what I do is I use a zip tie. What I'll try to do is get it in position here. And put the zip tie in right there. Yeah, we got a pair of cutters. All right. Nothing like a fresh cup of coffee. Hand delivered. So again, I'm really trying to just manage where the wires go. And I know this sounds silly, but I always try to put everything towards the outboard side. May sound a little trivial, but everything that's on this side of the plane contributes to less tip weight. I mean, this is nothing really, but I always, what I do is just spin it, make sure there's plenty of clearance. I will look in there with a flashlight. All right. So very happy with that. ESC is right in the airflow, right where you want it. The one thing I'll tell you with especially the jet spin, you got to make sure there's airflow going through it. As long as there's airflow going through it, you'll be fine. Because they do not like to run warm. All right, so let me cut this end off here. And these are actually designed to cut off zip ties. They have no bevel in the back. They're flush. And they're really meant to cut off zip tie plastic so you don't have a sharp edge on it. There's nothing worse than reaching your hand in and get it cut. Not required, but sometimes save a nice cut on your finger. Alright, so that's not bad. We can put one around the back. Gotta just get it through the center here. Okay, that's how I get the motor and ESC in. Let's move the coffee out of the way. Probably gonna need those. Oh. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit of a. So I try and make it a little brighter, see if it helps it. And if you see, that's how it's put in here. If you look right up the front, you can't see, the wires are tucked way up in here. You can barely see them. So, again, wire management's important. So that's the battery lead. So I got to mount the switch, the on-off switch here. Actually, I'll put under the battery disconnect wires. So forceps are obviously great to have. They really help with this stuff. You really can't get in there and reach. Alright, so one thing we gotta do is we gotta clean up in that hole. Must have paint fuzz or something. Hole's a little tight, so we may have to pull it back out and open it back up. We'll see. So I'm starting to watch the weather now. It's that time of season where we're thinking about flying. But it's like 42 degrees this morning, and the wind is already blowing at about 10. So not really conducive for what I'll say, having a good day flying. But maybe next Saturday doesn't look too bad. Looks like it'll be up in the 50s, blowing probably 3, 4, 5 miles an hour so far. And it's a week away. But really, for me, it's got to, anything less than 50 degrees is not really the most fun to be out in. The other thing, I would like to fly a known plane. First few flights of the season. I really will not take this out. Be the first flights I make is this plane. So I would say, we'll probably hopefully get out next week and I'll fly one of last year's planes. Maybe I'll fly maybe I'll fly high voltage 10. Alright, it got started. Usually getting the first one started is the trick. Once you get that done, you're good. Second one usually goes right in. Usually. There's some paint schmutz in there, I'll call it. Alright, we have to do some work to do to this hole, clean it up a little. Alright, so cosmetically it looks really good, but it's got a function as well. So. Alright, we're going to have to clean a little bit out. Alright, so the switch is in, if you can see. See, the switch is in, but I can't get full motion yet. So I got to clean that hole out a little bit. So I'll carefully do it with a number 11 blade. You know, you got some paint buildup in here that always contributes to some of this. So I'm doing is just running the blade carefully along the side of the switch to just open up that a little bit. All right, so we'll clean out a little more. I'm gonna fresh 11 blade. So this is those things you got to take your time with. You know, too many times I've been at this point and like get it in and kind of just cut it out, and then you end up with not a nice opening, finished opening. So what I say, just take your time here. Pretty free now. Okay. We'll just vacuum that spot. All right, feels pretty good. So, all right. can see. So the final test will be, will it start up the timer or not? We'll find out. But I think I got it. And if I don't, I'll just pull that switch out, open up that hole a little bit, and cure that issue. Boy, I need a bigger shot. So again, I work in the boiler room here, so not really big. And the ceiling is low, and there's pipes, and there's all kinds of challenges. Okay. Alright, so that's installed now. We manage where the wire goes. I got it going underneath. So it's added away. Alright, now we gotta, here's the battery lead. Alright, now we gotta manage the timer wires a little bit better, I think. So one of these is just for the timer to plug into it. So that I can actually run back here. It's just it's where you plug the timer, where you plug the Jetty box in to adjust it. That's one of the improvements too, I think, on Igor's timer. The other one you had to unplug it, plug into the timer. This one you don't have to. Actually, I want to. Okay. Alright, now this one I would like to have it come up and over. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can, how well I can show it here, what the final thing looks like. You can see my wires kind of added away. This is just the battery disconnect, the battery wire, and I set it up so I can get it all the way forward, all the way back. All right. So. Alright, so that's ready to go. I do got to get some Velcro now for the battery. Let me get a battery. Alright, so now this is the challenge, which way to put them. Because when you're putting this, you're on your knees. How can you make sure you get it tight each time? I will use 2. So I put it, so probably I pull up will probably be better. This is one of those deals, it's easier to do this way. Yeah, it's much better to see in here. And again, these forceps are really good. These are little ones. I have much bigger ones. Some curved ones. So part of my goal here is to be able to get the battery in and out somewhat easily while still maintaining it securely. So what I want to be able to do is go, just drop it in like so. So I want to be able to put them in either way, because if I run the battery really forward, I'd like to have the lead come out that way. Okay. Let's see. And this will also give me a first look at where the CG is going to be. I'll get a real rough idea right now, like just where the battery is. I mean, it's pretty forward right there. But it's not, it's pretty close. And that's with the battery middle-ish. Remember, I got to put the tail wheel on, you know, and the landing gear, so that'll... So what you want to be able to do is be able to tighten this on its side so I can grab it. and I pull it tight each time. See, it doesn't move. It's very tight. Now, the other thing is you want to be able to put these together and manage these wires. Nice. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually fire it up, see if it turns. See if it goes on. So right there it started. It starts the sequence. Okay, I can reach that. So right now I'm just going to check the rotation. So we'll just let it start for a second. Got a 40-second delay. You just want to make sure you get the right rotation. Nothing worse than... Okay, so we get the right rotation. And it's fired up, and so that's all good stuff. All right, now, here's what we're gonna do. Just out of curiosity, I'll get a weight now with everything in it. I don't have tip weight and lead outs, and that's about a... The tip weight will probably be a little shy of an ounce, or roughly. The dust is in the shop. All right, so let's... Okay. So we can kind of get an idea on CG now, for sure, where it's going to balance. We're balancing about ½ inch in front of the bolts, which is actually pretty not bad. Not bad. It gives us leeway. The battery's in the middle. I got leeway to go either way with it. So that's really good. Alright, so that's what it looks like. Alright, so now the moment of truth. What does it actually weigh? So we got no tip weight in it and no lead out, so that's... So right there is 62.45. So that's pretty good. The lead out's about 1/4 of an ounce. And the tip weight, let's just say we add another ounce. So 63.40, probably 63 3/4. So that's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty close to what I was looking for. I mean, I was really hoping to get down under 63, but take apart plane definitely challenges, but that's not bad at all. 62.45, and like I said, the lead outs are not even about 1/4 ounce, and about 1 ounce of tip weight, probably not even 1 ounce of tip weight after we get the trimming. Usually this design has been taken anywhere from 3/4 to about 7/8 of an ounce. I mean, they're all different though, so. But it looks like, I mean, what's nice already is it already has it has some tip weight built into it. So who knows? I may even be able to get less in it. But yeah. So pretty happy with it. All right, so next steps. Let me pull up. So I love these landing gear because you can just pop them in and out. All right, so that's pretty much what I got for today. I mean, I'll be doing the lead outs. There's nothing really spectacular there on that. Let's see, get the battery out, how that works. I mean, the one thing with putting batteries in and out, you don't want to make it complicated and taxing for you to do it. But you also want to make sure that it has the right strength. All right, so overall I'm very happy with it. I'm going to put this battery back. All right, that's pretty much what I got for today. I hope to have the maiden flights and I'll say within the next 2 weeks. I mean, all that's left is putting some tip weight in, putting the lead out and the lead out guide in place. And then I got to make up a set of lines for it, and I have handles, but I'll make up a set of lines and I'll get them set up. I mean, what I always try to do before going to the field, especially with a new plane, is I'll take the plane outside in the driveway. I got a long enough driveway, and I'll roll the lines out, and I'll make sure I really work through getting the neutral as close as possible by eye and hand. You know, you never really set the neutral till you fly it, but at least you'll get really close. Again, it's just really, these things are all preparations that when you get to the field, you don't have to waste time or effort to really get it going, because, you know, you really want to get that, especially the first flight on a plane. You really want it to be drama free, and you want to get off the ground and not have to have a whole bunch of effort to get there. But hope you guys enjoyed watching this series. Yeah, not really a lot left to do here. Again, I'll report out. Maybe I'll get some video of flights in the next couple weeks. But hope you guys enjoyed the series. And I will be doing another project. I just got to figure out when. I got some work to do in the house. I got a bathroom to do, so I'll be tied up doing that for a little bit. Got to take care of that stuff. It's very important. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. Tell your friends. Subscribe. Thanks for watching.